Welcome back to our audience to another Go AI episode. This is a special duo episode where we do this every year. We recap the previous year and give you all a foresight into what could be coming in the coming year, 2026.
Ours just isn't as cool as those Spotify wrap-ups that you get, like your top, favorite, artists and how many minutes you listened. I mean, we're not gonna do all that. So it's definitely not at Spotify level, but for AI, Connor, I feel like we have I don't know, some real meat to talk about.
Yeah. If you are in the top 1% of our listeners, then thank you for tuning in. And hopefully you keep tuning in.
Yes, we
So
appreciate you, nerding out with us.
So I think to start this discussion off, we could go into what did we get right last year? Last year's recap, we talked about what was going to become huge in 2025, and that was AI agents was one of those things.
Heck
So
yeah. And so a shout out to Connor. I was thinking about this in January last year. I flew to Arkansas and for the National Auction Association, I'm going again this year for their digital summit. And I was speaking to these auctioneer owners. And I kid you not, these auctioneer owners were already getting ready to implement their own AI avatars, like their AI agents. And so that was last January, right after our wrap up. And so here we are. It's like people thought we were crazy, but we were on the money.
yeah, I wonder how quickly those agents can talk from an
Well,
auctioneering
we're gonna see.
perspective.
I'm gonna go back this January, and so I tune it. Stay tuned. We'll see how this owner is doing in the auctioneer realm with AI agents. But again, I think it was still this pie in the sky concept last year, and I think that not only were we correct or accurate, I also think that it moved a lot faster than you and I anticipated.
Yeah, earlier in the year, there was just a limited release of ChatGPT Operator, which could use your browser for you and do a bunch of different tasks. But it was limited release, so it was kind of just like, okay, if you're at the highest tier of an OpenAI subscription, you can use this. But, when are we going to have this public? And now
Mhm.
we kind of see, I mean, not to get it too ahead, but we saw AI browsers come out this past fall where you could tell it, hey, look up this website, go to this website, you know, find me some information, summarize a bunch of different websites information for me. And it kind of merged the traditional large language model experience of just this disembodied kind of almost separate place where you would go to kind of be like, here's a prompt, give me some information. Now it kind of went into the internet and as well as other apps and whatnot, where the AI could just interact with so much more than just bringing text to you or images to you. That was the
Yeah.
big theme of AI
Yeah,
agents.
Connor, that prediction, I remember you talking about, DeepSeek last year, but I really did not anticipate the AI browser push, really, that push of the experience and interacting with AI models within the browser, how that has evolved. I don't wanna say I wasn't ready for that. I just my prediction, I feel like, was not, I wasn't thinking there, and I didn't see it.
Yeah, I think it kind of took a lot of people by surprise, just like how many like AI browsers kind of rushed in with like Perplexity's Comet, then ChatGPT Atlas.
And I love
Then Google recently announced Disco, which is going to be its own AI browser with this feature called Gen tabs, where you can run these like simulations and like mini applications within a tab that pulls data from a bunch of different websites, whatever you want from the internet, and will kind of just in real time create a small app for you within a tab.
Connor, I've seen it and probably, some of our audiences. I read the headline, and then I got 2 sentences in, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." This was one of those things last year we talked about in our wrap up, the gap between, these AI models, and to your point, right now, sitting where we are, I mean, Google just kinda came in at the table as the big elephant in the room. Are they really gonna be this big leader in 2026? That's the prediction. I When I hear you talk about that, that's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, one of the major themes that was established earlier in 2025, really like January, was when DeepSeek came out and showed, oh, the AI race can really kind of be anyone's race. It doesn't necessarily have to be determined by who has the best of the best talent, who has the most data centers or compute, as they call it.
Mhm.
It can really be, just innovation and nose to the grindstone. You can kind of get ahead. But what that connects to for business owners is that we're seeing this emergence of, sometimes models that get called the best or have the most brand visibility are not actually what clients, enterprise clients, are actually going for necessarily. And kind of a surprise for some people at least was that Anthropic really started to overtake many of the better known AI companies like OpenAI or even Google. And because
Yeah,
Anthropic really puts an emphasis on guardrails, data
safety.
privacy, safety. And that's kind of what the theme for business owners this year was. Oh, what gets called the best in like media and just these kind of large language model ranking platforms and AI model hype, like, oh my God, is Gemini 3 better than GPT 5?
It to your point, like, from an academia standpoint, watching this race, you look at it and say, "Gosh, they're, like, best of the best." We are watching, like, Formula 1 racing, right, with AI,
Mhm.
but that's not practical to, implement in most business owners that we talk about or talk to, like, the operators. I mean, to your point, they're more looking at, "Okay, what is scalable and safe for my, organization the next 12 to 24 months?" Because the technology is changing so much, right? And that there's also this uncertainty to make these big investments with all the change. And so, as you're talking about, you have these the best of the best, and the performance gap between them isn't that big. I think it's one thing to talk about that at the Formula One level, right? But most people on a day to day, Midwest national standpoint, like when we're talking to them, I mean, I don't see them really making those big investments at that level. Do you?
No, it's again, this comes back to the theme of like what, especially as the performance gaps close, it's like how much variance are you really going to get between a
Yeah,
lot of AI models? And so you really kind of need to be looking at, okay, on top of performance, what else is there? Like you said, is it scalable for your business's needs? Is it right size for your business? That could be kind of a key word here. Look for right sized AI
right
and don't
size.
go for the biggest and the brightest and the flashiest where there's all these tons of features. Focus on what you need. And we've heard it both from multiple guests this year, where you need to go in with a specific problem that you want to solve in mind if you're looking for an AI model, rather than just like, oh, it's
Yeah.
AI. I can just enter the company and just boom. That's like the whole, like, implement the AI, then question mark profits. That's kind of not the strategy. You need to
Yes.
go and go like, okay, where's the problem? Does AI fit into solving the problem?
Exactly, and Connor, that's what we should be talking about, right? We're talking more of these big concepts with AI and the big race, but from a bare bones level, it's okay. How quickly can I even integrate this? Depending on the size of your business, changes creates friction, and so these are big changes, and you know you talked about right sized. I also think that being able to implement a platform that's very clear on the problem that they solve and provides clarity and not complexity. And I will do a shameless plug for our AI app that's built on parallel AI. So kudos to David Richards and Todd Christ with the Mercenary Network. What we love and what I feel like is another concept that we should be talking about is how safe can the AI models be integrated and connected with your business. And to me, that's that is a question small business owners should be solving for. And that's what I like about parallel AI. It has all of the top models just integrated. You're not paying, $1,000 a month for your team to have all these subscriptions. It's within it. And you can connect to your own DNS, to your own email, to your own secure database and software needs. And so to me, I love that because you see a lot of like, hey, subscribe to, this AI da 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 brand, this new company that's, right? Everything's new. And so I think when it comes to when you do make these business operating decisions to think about safety, think about, okay, like what is the actual return on this for my team? Will this prevent my team from having all these other subscriptions that are outside of our network? Is it, safe and contained? So asking these questions in parallel, I love that it does that. And then I also love, they have this all in one white labeled. So, a platform that you can go and actually resell it. So, you have that free enterprise ability too. Now, again, I know that a lot of people get really like, oh, shiny object. And it's for me, Connor, it's always like when a salesperson says, hey, I can sell this, you're like, oh, we might have something. But what I love is that David Richards and Todd, that was never their main motivator. It was really to solve for a problem, which is why I feel like if you can think about it to your point like that, the right companies will align with your businesses that are safe, are secure, are thinking about, small businesses when scaling, when integrating and making changes. And those are really, to me, the people and leaders that you want in your corner when you're implementing AI.
One of the things that is really changed the game in 2025, speaking of implementing right-sized AI for your business, is the growing feature of connectors that makes it possible for not just certain AI agents, but pretty much all AI models to be able to connect to businesses' data, whether it's a Google Drive or, like you said, a DNS, making it so much easier to basically integrate any AI system with any data sources that your business might be working with. That is one of the biggest trends that came through in 2025 and will continue to be massively important in 2026, which is the question of how do businesses finally, when they pick an AI agent to go with or an AI model, how do they really customize it to their own end, which from a cost saving standpoint also means that they don't need to just build from the ground up, that they can take what's already available to them and integrate their existing data with it.
And listen, this conversation is moving so fast because new models and new upgrades are entering the conversation, what feels like daily. And so I think a lot of business owners should create a separate budget for, under operations for this. I don't think it's as easy as, hey, let's just go, sign up and get our feet wet. If you're a business operator with little to no experience here in 2026, I think should get a consultant, spend a day for a discovery session and just get clear on direction before you just go start buying and investing in things, right? Where this is not your expertise. If you're in manufacturing or, in a service business, get somebody who understands AI and, the operations of your business.
Yeah, take it from us, it's constantly changing, and there's all these different kind of just reversals and new trends emerge, and these kind of surprise apps and announcements come out, and as for business owners, they're probably just inundated with this stuff, whether it's on LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever they're scrolling through. It's like, oh my God, here's another tool.
There's
Like, am
another
I
one.
falling behind? Am I like, I don't have this in my business? Am I falling behind if I don't have this in my business?
Yeah.
Kind of just being able to kind of go like, okay, here's the bigger picture of the industry. Here's what really will matter for your business. You don't need every new little trend does not mean you're going to fall behind. And you can also still stay ahead if you're just still, again, solving problems. Thinking, like we said with parallel AI, what's the utility of the AI for
Yeah.
you?
Okay, so here's my weird example is do you remember when oh my gosh, it was this like fitness renaissance where you had the monthly subscription. It was like 21 days to lose, weight. And in 21 days, if you did this and you bought this, you would look like these fitness models or whoever it was. And so it became, I believe like this huge affiliate network and industry. And at the end of the day, you can still wake up without this 21-day, roadmap or without the cool gear. And you can go and do push ups and sit ups and run or do the things you need to do, right? To get in the shape that you want. And I know that that's such a silly example and so human, but that's the same thing with AI. I think before you start implementing all these things and buying what's shiny, just do the basic like go to ChatGPT, go to Perplexity, spend 2 hours, a day for 7 days and just realize what you don't know. And I think if you can get into the habit of every week, being intentional with how you're utilizing and practicing with AI models, you're going to know quickly, okay, I should probably hire or invest in somebody to lead the charge or lead the way here in this. And two, to your point, Connor, what problems can I solve? Because the more you practice it as an owner and operator, you're immediately going to recognize the problems or the holes that you can fill with this technology. And so to me, that's the quickest and smartest and cost-effective way to really start implementing if you haven't in 2026. Yeah.
2025, you saw this larger adoption of consumer AI tools as well as agentic AI for consumers. Guardian Out Digital began as an SEO company. And so seeing how consumers are using AI to reach businesses online, this is only going to get more and more common. And it's going to go beyond just, the question and response of Gemini or ChatGPT conversations for consumers. We're seeing integrations of more of the online shopping experience into AI models like ChatGPT, where there is the instant checkout feature, where people can now find your products through ChatGPT without having to go to an entirely different browser or anything like that. They can just buy your product within ChatGPT. People can go on Amazon and talk to Rufus, its AI model, and auto buy. They can say, I want this product. I want to auto buy it if it goes beyond below a certain price.
Live
So it's,
shopping, Connor.
yeah,
Live shopping. Because, I mean,
exactly.
yeah, to your point, this is the time to go on offense. And again,
Mhm.
I feel like I'm an athlete and you just got to know, like, right? You know, when the ball's kind of out in front, you go for it. This is your time to go on offense. If you have invested in social media, you've been scared, right, to get out there, now's the time that video and YouTube and your audience, to Connor's point, if you can get out there in front, it's a one click, I'm going to buy your product. Because when I'm searching for it, if it shows up and my AI model, who I trust more than what seems like people's pets or family members now at times, they're going to buy your product. So this is a huge opportunity for your brand to populate in AI models. And that goes back to SEO and optimizing every single channel that you can. You need to optimize every digital channel you have out there. I kind of look at it like an electrician. That's what we're doing, Connor. I mean, we are going out and just, running electric. And so it's fun, it's exciting. And to me, there's just no better time than now to go on offense.
Yeah, and part of that, just to give some quick tips for business owners, that involves making your content more conversational. That
Yeah.
involves making sure that you have more details than you think you might need than traditionally you would in search, because people are going to be able to ask ChatGPT or Amazon's Rufus or whatever they're using for any amount of questions, any questions they can think of about your product. The AI is going to be able to is going to answer it, and if it can't answer it, it might find another product. So that's really kind of giving them the details, more details than you think you might need, as well as being conversational. You think of AI models, they speak in a conversational way. So making sure that your content is more than just, here's a few key words or key phrases. You need to think of key sentences, key paragraphs, key entire pages that the AI will be quickly searching through a lot of. If you think of like people normally going through like one or two or three websites to compare products, AI can do just exponentially
Oh,
more.
I know. I'm like, "Connor, you're giving me PTSD right now from, like, 2023 when we were I mean, you all it's crazy to we're in 2026 because when we launched the AI podcast, people are like I mean, not that we're crazy, but they're kinda like, "Yeah, yeah, like, sure, guys," right? And so it felt very soon and early, and, Connor, just hearing you talk about it, some of these businesses, you're not ready to implement AI. You need a new website. You need, um, a new, Google My Business profile. Like, you're not ready. You're not AI ready. So maybe 2026 for you is all about getting AI ready. If you really are just tuning in now or you're just, at this early conversation, I mean, gosh, Connor, I think then take a step back and look at your digital footprint first because poor data in, it's going to be, poor data within these AI models. And that's not going to be great if users enter your website, don't have a good experience. The AI model is just going to say, well, shoot, I'm not showing that business again. Right.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, so I think now more than ever, like you want your digital brand to look a certain way and show up.
A key takeaway that I don't think is just out there enough in the AI related content that goes to business owners is that it's about more than just AI for your business. It's thinking about how the other part of it is how are your customers using AI to reach your business? How could potential customers find you through AI? That's the other side of the coin of an AI implementation within your business is thinking of how AI is being used outside of your business in a way that could impact your bottom line.
Man, I was just, I had a client call, they're doing billboards, and I'm like, which is great. I think a lot of businesses, they forget how direct mail and traditional advertising really plays a role in their media mix, Connor. So if you're right now looking at your traditional and your digital advertising, get smarter about how you're connecting the two. Because I think now to Connor's point, you need to be in more places. And so if you need to be in more places, you need your radio and your podcast ads and your OTT and your social media all in alignment of those messaging of your message. And so to me, again, I think more than ever, if you're in January, you're sitting here thinking, okay, AI, wait a second, I'm not even ready for that. Take another step back and look at just your brand as a whole and how you're showing up across all of these different platforms and how do you want to be aligned? Are you aligned? Maybe that is going to reinvent some of your marketing strategy so that you can be present on these AI models with the right message and a congruent one. I think that it's slow down, take a pause right now and do that first and foremost.
New Year's resolution, take it easy
Take
for a
a
little
pause.
bit, then get back into it.
Take a pause. I like that. Yes.
Mhm.
What was the other our other thing? Right-sized AI. I like that.
Right-sized AI, yeah.
There you go. That's
Think,
our wrap up.
yeah, that's the wrap up is take a deep breath. It'll be okay. And think of the right-sized AI. And maybe New Year's resolutions, think of problems for your business that you want to solve, and then start thinking about the AI. Think about the utility rather than thinking AI first and then trying to set it loose. That's, yeah, strategizing for the AI.
Let's think a little bit. Take a pause and think first. I like it. Thank you all for tuning in for yet another year. We're so excited. 12 months just flew by. We appreciate you listening more than you know and visiting our nest. Go AI.
Keep tuning in. We're going to have a lot more great guests this year, as well as more AI related video content coming out from Guardian Now this year. That's going to be a big part of our content output. You're going to see more videos featuring me, Jenna, everyone else is talking about AI, whether it's longer YouTube videos, YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn, Instagram, anywhere you can follow us, you'll be seeing these videos. So keep tuning in. Thank you
And
all.
tell leave comments because if we wanna give you what you like, we're here to be educational and, this takes some time. So be honest. You're safe here. All right.
Bye, you all.
Bye.